This is a sports catastrophe production. Hey there, Heather, ho there, it's Jeff Cutter, and welcome you to another sports catastrophe on this day. And on this day, October 10th, 1968, one of the best World Series of the 60s happened. I know I talked about the 66 World Series yesterday, but this 1968 World Series went to 7 games, and it ended with a climax. You probably didn't think that. Anyway, so the 68 World Series happened. The 1968 season was the year of the pitcher, and pitching was just dominant. It was so dominant that in the American League, Carl Yastrzemski won the batting title without hitting 300. It was so bad and all that. Anyway, so this was huge and all that. So 1968 saw the Detroit Tigers and the St. Louis Cardinals battle it out. It was huge. This was the final World Series to be played prior to the MLB's expansion in '69. So that meant that the 1968 season was the last time that only 2 teams could make the playoffs. Well, aka the World Series. In '69, they would change to 4 divisions. Those 4 winners of the divisions would play a AL Championship Series and an NL Championship Series to go to the World Series. So anyway, Game 1 saw Bob Gibson on the mound. What am I thinking? So anyway, Bob Gibson was throwing heat. I mean, he was the star pitcher against Detroit's Danny McLean, who put up 30 wins in a season. That's hard to do now with the 5-man rotation. So the Tigers were trying to win their first World Series in 23 years, which was the last time they played. So they led the American League with home runs. Their team batting average was .235, which was 4th best, which was weird. The Cardinals played small ball. They stole a lot of bases. They had 48 triples and a batting average of .249. So the pitching seemed to be even. It was a highly anticipated match. Bob Gibson, 22-9 with a 1.12 ERA against Danny McLean, 31-6 with a 1.96 ERA. The Cardinals were basically the heavy favorites. After all, they won the title the previous year in '67. And Bob Gibson did fantastic, striking out 17 Tigers. 17. That's amazing. It's hard to get 15 strikeouts in a game nowadays because, you are on inning limits sometimes. So, yeah, 17 Tigers struck out. But he did not throw a no-hitter. There were 5 hits by the Tigers. St. Louis would score 3 in the 4th as after walking Roger Maris and Tim McCarver. Yes, Roger Maris was a Cardinal then. St. Louis third baseman Mike Shannon, who was a radio/TV legend in St. Louis, kind of like Joe Buck. Yeah. But anyway, he singled in Maris. And after a misplay by Willie Horton, he got to second base. And then it was second and third when Julio Javier would score 2 RBIs, make it 3-0. Lou Brock would hit a home run, make it 4-0. Brock was not really known for his home run power. Gibson struck out the side in the 9th to get to 17 strikeouts, beating Koufax's record of 15 strikeouts in one game. Game 2, Detroit pounded Nelson Briles. Mickey Lolich, a good pitcher, was on the mound for Detroit. 8-1 was your score. Game 3 was at Tiger Stadium. And it was interesting. Detroit did strike first with a 2-run home run by Al Kaline off of Ray Washburn. However, Earl Wilson could not hold the fort, giving up 4 runs in the 5th inning. Orlando Cepeda would hit a 3-run home run for the Cardinals in the 7th to make it 7-3. And this was huge. Joe Horner came into the game in relief and actually got a single, becoming the first major leaguer to get a hit in the World Series after going hitless the entire season. Well, pitchers don't really hit that well. Game 4 saw a massive matchup. Gibson versus McLean again. And Gibson again in game 4. Pounded things in. St. Louis put up 4 in the 8th to win 10-1. So there was a bit of a rain delay. Yeah, there was a rain delay. So Mayo Smith made a move by putting Eddie Matthews at third base. The legendary former Brave got a hit in that game, but it was the last time he would play in the major leagues. Anyway, McLean struggled. There were a couple of rain delays that really ruined him. All that. Bob Gibson even went deep this time. The Tigers would only score 1 run, and that was a home run by Jim Northrup. Gibson was nearly perfect. He only struck out 10 this time. Game 5 was around, and this was kind of the turning point of the series, if you will. Before the game, Jose Feliciano was allowed to sing the national anthem. The legally blind singer unconventionally sang it kind of like a salsa movement. He didn't sing it the normal thing, like you say, oh, say, can you see? He basically goes, oh, say, can you see? A lot of angry letters and phone calls came in about the performance, obviously. And Lolich actually did blame Feliciano's rendition for causing him to get cold after his warm-ups. So, yeah. That's what America was in 1968. A little overreactionary. St. Louis would put up 3 runs in the first inning, though. After an RBI single by CUrt Flood and a 2-run home run by Orlando Cepeda. So, anyway. After it was 3-2 in the 5th inning, the Cardinals had a chance to go up by a pair. Lou Brock hit a double, and then Julio Javier at a base hit to left. Willie Horton fielded the ball off the ground and threw to home plate. However, Brock could have slid into home plate, but he decided to try to bowl over Bill Freehand. Big mistake. Brock was called out. And the Cardinals lost their mojo as Detroit would put up 3 in the 7th with Al Kaline's 2 RBI single. Nelson Briles was taken out of the game early, but Joe Horner was the loser in that match. So Lolich won his second game. Game 6 saw Danny McLean versus Ray Washburn. And it was humongous, all that. The Game 6 was huge. Detroit would have to win 2 games in St. Louis to get the World Series. But of course, St. Louis is not that easy. So Danny McLean was chosen to pitch against Ray Washburn. And it worked. Detroit won the game 13-1 to force Game 7. However, home runs would be hit by Northrup and Al Kaline. They put up 10 runs off 3 Cardinals pitchers in the 3rd inning. And Jim Northrup had the grand slam, so that was huge. Now comes Game 7. Lolich versus Gibson. Someone could win a 3rd game, a 3rd start. So this was huge. It was amazing. Lolich and Gibson were matching serials against each other. And then came the 7th inning. After 2 out hits to Norm Cash and Willie Horton, Jim Northrup would come up to the plate. And Northrup hit a smash deep center. CUrt Flood, who was a Gold Glove legend in St. Louis, misjudged it and started in on the ball by accident. Basically, he had to go back. It one hopped the warning track past him. 2 runs scored. Northrup was on 3rd, and Lolich looked good. Flood was criticized for that, for misjudging it and all that. Bill Freehand would get Northrup to the plate, and the game was pretty much over as the Tigers won 4-1 and shocked St. Louis. They were down 3-1, and they came back to win 3 straight games. Lolich was named World Series MVP. I mean, obviously, you got to give it to a winner. I mean, they gave it to Bobby Richards in 1960, even though the Yankees lost the World Series to the Pirates. But, I mean, Gibson should have had the MVP, but whatever. Worst for St. Louis is that Del Maxwell, their shortstop, was 0 for 22 in the World Series. That was amazing and all that. The Tigers got lucky on CUrt Flood's mistake and all that. Weird of all, this was the 6th World Series in the 1960s to actually go a full 7 games, the most of any decade. So yeah, the 60s were full of like you could rely on a game 7 for some reason. The Tigers became the 3rd team to come back from 3-1 down, and that was the first 2 were the 1925 Pirates versus the Senators, or well, Washington Senators / Minnesota Twins, and the 1958 Yankees, who did against the Braves, the Milwaukee Braves, who were looking to go back to back. Since then, 3 more teams came back from 3-1 down to win the World Series. The 79 Pirates against the Orioles, the 85 Royals against the Cardinals, and the 2016 Cubs against the Indians. So yeah. So it was a good World Series, but it just ended badly. And CUrt Flood's career kind of ended badly. CUrt Flood blamed the fact that he was dumped off by the Cardinals because of that one big boo-boo that cost him the 68 World Series. I can kind of get his point, but we'll never know for sure. No one's going to say anything. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. Adieu.